Hi everyone, welcome and salam, peace be upon you. I'm going to share with you 3 unconventional ways that I managed to control and stop my panic attacks which I've had since childhood. These methods might seem a bit unusual, yet they've worked wonders for me and I hope they can help you too. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay updated with my latest videos. There's a lot of information on what can cause panic attacks, so I won't go into that here for the purpose of this video. It's just quick helpful tips. I may, however, consider making a video about the variety of causes based on my experience and insights. If you would like that, let me know by clicking the thumbs up and commenting yes with a sunflower emoji. So number 1, watering a plant. So the first time I noticed myself calming down was in this scenario, which I will briefly narrate. I had been feeling really awful and my whole body mind system felt overwhelmed. I felt in a fog. I was crying so much I felt like it was hard to breathe. I recall what felt like weird sensations within my body, feeling nausea and like I was in a sea and drowning, and I tried to call my doctor's surgery but was not able to get through. And while I was waiting for a call back and I was so upset, I remember standing over the bathroom sink trying to wash my face whilst crying so much that I felt sick. I made some connections later on about my time in the cycle and nutrition being key to triggering my super sensitive intuitive physiology. So these were, to me, communications from within that something is not right. It was a horrible moment, and I have had these since childhood, but this was particularly bad. The water helped me a little in that moment. The human need to be touched by something natural, which reminded me of ablution, wudu in the Islamic tradition. So I did that, and then I went into the garden, and at that time it was pretty bare and there was only one plant. I had never before tended to the garden at this point. I don't know what in me decided to turn on the tap, fill the container and water that plant. Something in that moment connected me to nature, to my source, to God, to another form of created being, something that grew by itself, perhaps from a seed brought or dropped by a bird. I noticed the leaves. I wondered about its needs. I looked around. I could feel the mild, cool but not cold air touch my hot cheeks that were just emerging, calming from a storm that had passed through me. I looked up at the sky, thought about God, and in that I realized the act of watering the plant for me had grounded me quite literally. Soon after I got a call back from the doctors, by which point I was able to cope better. So next time you feel distress, anxiety or a sense of panic emerging, perhaps try watering a plant if you can. I could not have ever imagined this if someone told me this was a tip or technique to go out and water a plant, or if you have an indoor plant. I would probably have thought, yeah, what do you know, or how could I possibly muster up the courage to do something during a panic attack? But hey ho, it's something that worked for me in a natural, organic way, and for someone who's had countless panic attacks from childhood. And it was the beginning of my journey to really benefiting from and enjoying being in nature and really observing and having that deep connection. So the second tip or technique from me is sujood breathing. So that's the next one, and these are not in any order, and they can be used if you like whenever it feels right. It's breathing in the position of prostration, so sujood in the Islamic tradition, or a bit like child pose, where you place your forehead on the ground and are in almost like a fetal position. I find it a comforting position to be in, and it's the nearest to feeling hugged by God in my mind. The release of pressure from the frontal lobe, our thinking part of the brain, feels nice, especially if you can do it on some natural material, the earth, grass, sand, wood flooring, or even on a prayer mat is fine. And the simple breathing deeply, which I like to do, is just in and out of my nose, as that is apparently a more controlled way of breathing, and I found that most helpful in my life. And so I breathe in so that I can feel my rib cage expand, and then I breathe out and keep that cycle going. So sometimes I'll do it for 7 rounds, or you can do it for 5, or anything, just so that you have almost like this focus that I'm just going to do this many. And often I find that I just carry on way over 7. Or I recite name of Allah on the in breath and a different one on the out breath. And I do that for a while sometimes. I just talk to Allah in that position. For me, this grounding technique is a simple yet effective way to bring myself back to a place of connection and into the present moment, and away from the overwhelming sensations of a panic attack or anxiety. So just to recap, go into the position of sujood or prostration, feel how your forehead feels and other parts of your body. Be really aware of your sensations and breathe in and out through your nose or release through your mouth if that feels right for you. Feel your rib cage expand and release, expand and release, and keep that cycle going. Reflect on certain names of Allah that resonate with you. I find sometimes Al-Mu'min, the one who provides safety and security, and Al-Jabbar, the one who holds together or mends that which is broken, to be comforting, and a whole host of others depending on the situation. If it helps, I've made around 10 videos with breathing tips and exercises using Allah's names for trauma healing, which you can find on this channel too. And finally, reciting the prayer in Arabic, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir, which roughly translates into God is sufficient for me, or I place my trust in God and He's the best guardian, He's the best protector, and He's the best helper. Sometimes it's also translated as the most excellent guardian, excellent protector, excellent helper. So I recite that in English. So reciting a short prayer, particularly whether it's this one or another one, for me it's that feeling that I place my trust in God, and consciously saying that, so repeating that He is the most excellent and best of guardians, protector and helper. So the traditional way is to recite it in Arabic, but once I was feeling so overwhelmed I couldn't connect and felt like my brain was malfunctioning, and I thought to myself, it makes sense to be able to say it in that language that I speak and understand, and is also created by God, who knows all languages. So I broke through that barrier I had in my mind of what I think people think is okay. A way I did it was to say it 100 times, but not like some ritual for the sake of it, but as a kind of container of time and focus that was a protective space for me, where I would say these words and think about them for that period of time, and in that time I settled. Again, I often do this in nature, so I sit in the garden, or I have also done it sitting on my prayer mat or laying in bed. You can do it wherever, perhaps even looking out of a window at the sky and noticing any birds or trees around, where the sunlight falls, or how the clouds are shaping up. Remember, everyone's experience with panic attacks is different, so don't be afraid to try different methods until you find what works best for you. I'm just sharing some things that helped and helped me, in the hope that it helps someone else. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from these techniques. And so just to briefly recap, water a plant, breathe in the position of sujood, and recite a prayer or a phrase or a name of Allah that really resonates and helps you to feel connected, grounded and safe and secure. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time, God willing. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and most importantly, take care. Love and prayers from me to you as always.